Hello again, friends, fellow tape heads. Today I'm going to talk about two issues that I experienced in working on my Revox PR99. I've been doing this on and off for a little bit, and the first issue is the PR99 blowing fuse, and the second one is the capstan motor will not turn. Here is the deck. It's a PR99 Mark 1. So what happened is, as always, before I do any restoration, I usually clean up the deck and then I try to analyze it and see what kind of issue the deck has. And in so doing, I find the deck just blowing this fuse right here. That's what F2. It's blowing F2. Couldn't figure out why, and I, look at my work. I remove the audio board, remove everything I did to see if anything was shorting out, and I just couldn't figure out what's going on. I use my trusted Fluke here to do all my continued testing and so forth. Still couldn't figure out why the fuse was blowing every time. So what I did was, I know it has to do, because every time I plug this into the fader board here, it would blow, or plug this one in, the fuse would blow. So what I did was remove the tape board, the tape drive board, and I tested the capacitors on it, and some of the capacitors were way out of whack, high ESR, out of tolerance capacitors and so forth. So I said, some of them were even on the verge of breaking apart. So I just went ahead and changed the capacitors. Then I reinserted the board, and no more blown fuse. The fuse is just sound. Didn't blow any more fuse. So that took care of that. The next issue was, after I installed the transport system of the capstan and this, I noticed that the capstan motor would not turn no matter what I did. So I thought, I did the same thing here. I pulled the capstan board and I tested all the components on it. All the components were good. Just couldn't figure out why this capstan motor would not turn. So I usually have extra circuit boards to aid in my troubleshooting, make things much easier when you're doing it. When you're working on these decks, I have a few extra cards that is working. So I plug those in, and the capstan motor still would not turn. So luckily, I have another PR99, but this one is PR99 Mark 3. This one right over here, that's a Mark 3, right? So I pull the board from the Mark 3, and and try them over here, still wouldn't turn. So I say, okay, let me make sure that these that they that these boards, circuit boards in this deck, mainly the tape drive board and the capstan board. So I removed those and I inserted it into the Mark III over there, and the capstan over there turned. So I know that nothing is wrong with these boards. So question now is, where is the fault? What's going on? So in the meantime, I'm looking at the circuit diagram, doing my trace in the circuit diagram. So from the secondary of the transformer right here, where you see that T-M3-1 and T.M3-2, I traced those down to the capstan motor, and I realized that one of those connection was showing 130 volts, and the other one was showing like 1.5 volts AC. See here where it says it should be 130 volts right there. So clearly the transformer is a suspect right there. And you know, when after working on quite a few decks and I never come across a transformer that was bad, I'm like, it's like I refuse to believe that the transformer was bad. So anyway, I took a further step by removing the capstan motor, because I want to eliminate it totally, make sure that to prove that the capstan really is not at fault. So I remove the capstan from this deck, from the Mark. I remove the capstan motor from the Mark 1 and replace it with the one and put it in the Mark 3 over here. And sure enough, the capstan work in the Mark 3. Like I say, this one is the Mark 3. So I replace the capstan and it worked over there, right? And then I remove the capstan from the Mark 3 and put it here. So it's like going back and forth. But I want to make sure that the capstan is not at fault. So sure enough, over in the Mark 3, the capstan turns, no problem. So right away, it just points to the transformer. And I took a further step way down in the transformer onto the power supply. That goes to the power supply board right here. Way down here, there are the two yellow wires, right? And these yellow wire are the same ones on the primary in the drawing here that I pointed out before. Sure enough, that was the outer one was 130 volts and the other one was like 1 point something volts. So clearly something is wrong with that transformer. So the transformer, it's supposed to read about at least 40 to 50 volts over there, somewhere closer to the 130, not 1 point something volts. So something is wrong right there. So I'm doing this video just for all the tape heads like myself who are not expert in troubleshooting and repairing these decks. So I like to pass on my findings so that they too can benefit and not getting frustrated over some issues. So I like to share my my experience. So that's what I'm doing today. So next up, I will find a transformer. I think I have an extra power supply in the garage. I'm gonna pull it out and test it out and see if it's any good. Otherwise, I'll have to hit up eBay again, because with these deck, not just Revox, but any vintage electronic um, systems, could it be tape deck, radios, whatever, eBay is your best friend, because that's where you can find people parting out these systems, and you can pick up parts, because you can't walk into this store and buy these anymore. So we'll just have to do with what we have. So the next challenge is to replace the transformer. I'm going to replace the entire power supply and see what's what, because in my previous video you will notice I had pointed out that I did change the capacitors on the power supply. Those were brand new, and I tested all the components and they were all good. So something with the transformer here. So all right, YouTube, so that's my finding. I'll give you a follow-up when I solve this issue of the capstan motor not turning. All right, thanks for watching. See you again. Bye. Update YouTube. I think I find the culprit why the capstan motor will not turn. I thought it was a transformer, but no, I pulled it down, and I did a thorough testing on it, and everything is all good. Transformer, the power circuit, the power supply, it's all good. So in digging around and doing some continuity test, here is the culprit. There are 9 wires going into this thing. Oh wait, let's see, 3, 6. Yeah, there are 9 wires going into this connector here, and you'll notice that there are only 8 pins, 2, 4, 6, 8 pins. And when I look at the power supply, I can see that the pin has broken off into it. So that's a problem right there, because these wires here, these 2 yellow wires, they go straight to the motor run capacitor, right? The yellow, the green, and the blue. The yellow, the green, and the blue, and the 2 yellow ones go straight across the go straight to the capstan motor. So therefore, that's why the capstan motor will not spin, because the plug has broken off. So got to figure that one out and correct the issue right there. So there we go. I found the culprit. Yes. Yeah. The motor run capacitor is right behind the transformer up front right here. Let's gotta look deep down into it to see it. Anyway, that's what happens. Yeah, those 2 wires go straight across the motor run cap. Let me see if I can show that to you. Okay, if you look at the middle capacitor, Well, it's the middle one. Right. Middle one right there. I have a 2 yellow wire. See those 2 yellow wire? Those go straight across the those go straight down to the capstan motor. So that's why the capstan would not spin. Okay, just thought I'd give you an update, and as always I like to pass on my findings to you guys. Alright, thanks for watching again. Bye. Okay, so as you can see, the unit is partially back together again. The capstan motor has been installed, and right now I just completed the repair to let the capstan motor start spinning. So I will demonstrate that for you. See, capstan motor is now spinning. Okay, so I have a lazy Susan going here. So what happened is that the VU meters went out. They were not working, and I didn't have any replacement bulb, but I did have some LEDs that I replaced the bulb with. So these are green LED, as you can see, and it looks pretty nice. Yeah, looks nice. Okay, so I'll be continuing with the restoration of the PR99 Mark 1 following this episode. Of the 2 main issues I had was that the capstan motor would not turn, and that's because one of the leads from the motor run capacitor that goes to the capstan motor was broken off, and the other issue was the short circuit that I was experiencing, which blew the fuse continuously, and that has been resolved by me just replacing some capacitor on the tape drive unit, the tape drive PC board. Those capacitors were all very, very bad. So now next thing I'm going to be doing, I'll be doing the audio circuits, all the audio circuit cards. I will be concentrating on next. Here they are over here. Now I will be doing those one by one to make sure everything is all up to scratch. Much easier to troubleshoot when you do everything one by one. All right, I'll keep you up to date, and thank you for watching again. Bye.